Are you someone who is currently searching for your next great action film obsession? The kind of films so wild and so unhinged and so ridiculously satisfying that you can't help but watch them again and again? Well, buckle up, because today we are diving into the Sisu movies. These movies aren't just action-packed, they are pure, unfiltered mayhem wrapped in a style, grit, and unforgettable nature that you'll think about for years to come. And if you've never heard of them, perfect, because the video might just be the spark that ignites your newest action film addiction, an addiction that comes along rarely nowadays, but the Sisu movies are exactly what you need. One of the best elements of the Sisu films is the way they fuse gritty World War II history with a larger-than-life mythology about one man inside of the war, blending some historical truth with a legend to create a character who feels grounded and relatable. That myth at the center of these movies is Aatami Korpi. He isn't introduced as your traditional action hero. He isn't a decorated officer or a man seeking glory. He is a retired Finnish commando who has fought more than enough wars for men he doesn't trust and causes he doesn't believe in. His presence in the harsh, war-torn part of Europe he resides in tells us something important. This is someone running away from the war as much as he is surviving within it. And this idea of the skills he has as a soldier and his desire to disappear creates a rich foundation for the mythology that follows. If you didn't pay attention to this history lesson about the Finnish army during school when World War II was being taught to us, you're all good, because nobody knows about these people like Korpi who served within it. After now seeing both of these movies, it dawned on me how crazy it is that most education will only teach us about the main forces involved in World War II, like the Americans, Germans, Japanese, Italians, and the Russians. For the most part, they don't teach you about those smaller groups that were also involved, like the people of Finland. Finland's military included some of the fiercest and most resourceful fighters in Europe. In the early 1940s, as the war progressed in the beginning, the Finnish commandos were looked at by the very term that inspired the film's title, since they were known for their extreme resilience, their guerrilla tactics, and their almost supernatural ability to endure brutal conditions. As the opening text card of the first movie says, Sisu is a Finnish word that means a white-knuckled form of courage and unimaginable determination. By that description, given that they were also one of the main fighting forces that were trying to fend off Russian and Soviet forces from taking over Europe, you've got to expect that a person like Korpi is someone not to mess with if he hates Nazis but the Russians just as much. His character carries the scars and silence of a man who has seen too much and survived even more, which makes his character even more interesting given that there is no full backstory about him in either of the two films, except for small little details that paint a bigger picture of his past. Since he also doesn't speak, it makes him more terrifying knowing that his actions are in fact what speak louder than any words that he could say. And if you watch the way that he conducts himself in action sequences, he makes everyone who comes before him blush from other action films. He'll make Arnold Schwarzenegger blush, Sylvester Stallone, Chuck Norris, anybody that you can think of that were the action film stars of old. In other words, the mythology and the World War II setting aren't just a backdrop, they are the foundation of why you care about this one man and why his journey is so compelling, for when he goes up against fighting Nazis to steal gold from him in the first film, or Russians in the second film simply trying to rid him of his existence because of what he did to them when he fought them in the wars. Just goes to show you how much great world building can make you care more about a character, even when the backstory and general development aren't the primary focus. And that's a great way to now start talking about where these movies excel, which is the action sequences. It's the most defining part of the Sisu films, and perhaps the element that most instantly separates itself from a traditional war action movie is their unapologetic commitment to spectacle over realism. These films operate on a wavelength where the rules of physics, anatomy, and probability are treated more like suggestions than strict boundaries. If, for example, a studio came in with a note to say, "That's not realistic at all, please take that out." And rather than weakening the story of Korpi and his journey in both films, that bold disregard for realism becomes one of its greatest strengths. And when you have the studio behind the John Wick movies helping to make these, I don't think you're going to expect any notes about that. They're just going to let you do whatever you want. As much as I have an issue with how Lionsgate as a studio has conducted itself in recent years, the one thing they have done the best is movies like this. It's not striving for gritty authenticity in the way historical war dramas often do. Instead, it plants its flag firmly in the ground and it says, These choices are absolutely intentional, and it's just what these films are meant to be. You look at the John Wick films as the examples most people will bring up when comparing to Sisu. John Wick embraces being somewhat tactical when you follow his every move with how he's able to continuously kill as many people as he can. Sisu has that creative freedom way more than most other action films, which opens the door to some of the most imaginative and audacious action sequences that you'll see in a modern film. It's not often that you see an action scene of a plane diving at a truck only for your main character to shoot some wooden logs off the truck, which bounces the plane off of them, and our hero lives to tell the tale. That's the kind of ridiculousness these movies strive for. The Sisu movies are honest with their intentions. They are here to entertain you, to shock you, and to keep you grinning at the absurdity of what just happened. It's not trying to be Saving Private Ryan or any other more realistic war film. And to that point, I ask this of the people who are watching this video right now. Do you feel action movies should come back to being in that style of showcasing stuff that is not meant to be realistic? It definitely feels like in recent years, we've gotten way more movies that skew towards a more realistic approach to action sequences, whether to be tactical or to at least give you the idea that something could happen without feeling ridiculous. If you are somebody who prefers both styles, that's just as great of a feeling to have, rather than to only prefer one over the other. I'm sure a lot of you watching have probably gone on YouTube before and watched videos of actual retired military members who break down scenes from films and television shows and speak about how realistic they are and if any of it makes sense. Sisu doesn't give a shit about what those people think. It just wants to be a fun time, and that's what I love about them. If the first Sisu film introduced us to the unstoppable legend of Aatami Korpi, then Sisu Road to Revenge feels like the moment that legend reaches its blazing full circle climax. With the new sequel now out in theaters, I had to find time to go and see it, given I missed the first one when it originally came out. Most sequels are not always as good as the originals, but somehow Road to Revenge delivers an experience even more exhilarating than its predecessor. Think of it in Mad Max terms. The original 3 films were a beginning to the whole story behind the world going to shit and following one man who is just trying to survive through it all. The eventual 4th film that came so many years later with Fury Road is where the action was elevated to something even more than what we got in those original 3 films. Road to Revenge is the Fury Road to its first film. The first movie is much more grounded, but the sequel goes heavier on the action and background to the character. And for me, it's become not just a worthy follow-up, but one of my favorite movie theater experiences of the entire year. The stakes feel more personal this time around. The violence also feels more personal, and the pacing hits that perfect rhythm where every set piece lands with such power that it would make you want to experience it all over again immediately after watching. And that runtime that it has as well, it's one of the shortest action movies I've probably ever seen, and it absolutely helps it, and I think that's what would make you come back to watch it more and more. I haven't mentioned either of them yet, but director Jalmari Helander and main actor Jorma Tommila as Aatami Korpi understood the assignment once again. Along with Stephen Lang coming in to play the main villain, the man responsible for the death of Korpi's family, you can feel everyone's confidence level is up to 100% when they were making these. In a way, the movie is not completely dissimilar to the first. It just changes up a few story beats and the main villain, but that's really all you need to do. Everyone who made this movie understands how ridiculous they are, but also understands just as much as how when all hands are on deck and everyone is giving it their all, it's going to produce something amazing. And to me, when I see the quality on screen, especially seeing it in a movie theater with the best sound and biggest screen possible, it's just an experience that you want to have. It's built for that shared moment when everyone in the theater realizes what Korpi is about to do to all of these Russians chasing him down. And then, when he does his thing, everyone collectively loses their minds. Now granted, I was the only person in my theater who saw this. No joke, I had the whole thing to myself, and for better or worse, it made the experience perfect for me, but could have been even better if a whole group of people were going crazy alongside me. Seeing it in a theater transforms it from a cool action film into a full-on event, one of those rare cinematic rides where you are walking out buzzing because you felt something. The Sisu films both prove there is room and an appetite for action films that aren't built on massive franchises and generic cliches we've seen a million times before. Sure, there are elements to these films that one could say they've seen before, but they would also say at the same time that they hadn't seen them before to the degree that both go to, and that's one of the major points I want viewers to take away from this video. If the sequel is playing anywhere near you in a theater, go see it. Support films that embrace this style instead of playing things safe. Support films that understand the fun, primal joy of pure action and aren't afraid to push the genre into more exhilarating territory. Sadly, for the fans of these films like me, it doesn't seem like there will be any more sequels. Director Jalmari Helander has said that he's open to an idea if he's found it, but for now, it's a wait-and-see kind of process for if a third will ever get made. I think Road to Revenge is a good conclusion, and I'd be happy with either decision he makes, whether he doesn't make another one or if he does. These films are unforgettable experiences, and they deserve to be seen by everyone who still believes that action movies can surprise us. If you are someone who's watching this video and hasn't seen them, go watch them, and then come back to this video and thank me. I know you will. But the most important question is this: what do you all think? What do you think of the movies if you have seen them, and what do you think of my commentary and analysis of them from the point of views I brought forward? And also, if you have the ability to make a film like Sisu, what kind of idea would it be factoring in with mythology and the setting along with the main character? Leave your comments down below with your answers. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you are new here, and please turn on that notification bell. I'm trying to build an awesome film community on here, and your support would be appreciated. That's a wrap, folks. I hope everyone here has a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you all soon for the next video.